Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and welcome to Command Power, the show in which we discuss all things Magic the Gathering with a focus on Commander. And today we have another episode in our Spoiler Spotlight series in which I talk about, well, spoilers and tell you what my thoughts are on them. But before that, just a quick reminder to click subscribe if you enjoy my videos. We're well on our way to 1 million subscribers and your support means everything to me. And today we're going to be talking about Magmatic Galleon. For 3 colorless and 2 red, it's an artifact vehicle 5/5 with, when Magmatic Galleon enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to target creature and opponent controls, and whenever one or more creatures your opponent's controller dealt excess non-combat damage, create a treasure token. It also has crew 2. So I actually really like this card, and the more I think about it, the stronger I think it is, because it's an effect that's actually going to trigger quite a bit in a commander game, and you should be able to draw quite a few cards off of this. So let's start by having a quick look at what exactly this is going to do. The fact that it's going to come in and deal 5 damage to something immediately is pretty strong. You're almost always going to want to choose something that's going to be dealt excess damage with this, because that way you're getting a treasure, and that means that this essentially costs 4 mana if that's the case, which again it should almost always be. So 4 mana for a removal spell that then sticks around as a source of token generation and potentially a creature if you needed to seems very, very good. But there is of course a catch, which is that you need to have it in a deck that is going to consistently deal non-combat damage and consistently deal excess non-combat damage. So that's a very specific set of requirements, which does make this a little bit more niche than it would otherwise be. However, even if you're just using it fairly, this probably is going to mean that basically every red board wipe that you play is going to give you a treasure token. That's already pretty decent if that's all that this card does. It can pay for itself fairly quickly if you're running a bunch of board wipes, but it becomes that much better of course if your commander has a consistent way to deal non-combat damage to your opponents. It's going to synergize very nicely of course with Toralf, God of Fury, which wants you to be doing that, and with Fall of Kaer Andros. I particularly like it with Fall of Kaer Andros because it does actually give you a way to deal a ton of damage repeatedly, even though it is very expensive at 8 mana. But of course there are lots of different and cheaper ways that you can be dealing damage with your stuff. A deck where this seems like it would be very good is in Gearson Starn, because Gearson of course is going to magnify all the damage that your pingers are doing, and that is a deck where you're running a bunch of pingers. So as long as your opponents have creatures with 2 toughness in play, and it has to be exactly 2, then Gearson Starn is going to deal 2 extra damage to them, which is therefore going to trigger this and give you a treasure. That means that if there's more than 1 2 toughness creature in play and you have multiple pingers out, you can do them one by one so that you get multiple treasures out of this instead of just 1 treasure, which is what you would normally get for a board wipe or any instance of dealing damage to a bunch of creatures at the same time. Gearson is far from the only commander where this is good in. Of course, it's going to be very good in any deck that's focused on fighting. There are quite a few of those decks, particularly in red-green, and they're all going to be pretty happy to have this effect. It seems to me like it would be very good with Boxing Ring, because any deck that is running Boxing Ring is probably also interested in treasures, so it kind of overlaps very nicely there. Drakuzeth is another card that seemed very, very good to me. Of course, it is going to only trigger once, even though you're targeting 3 things with Drakuzeth, but that's still very powerful. To be honest, that's just scratching the surface of what this card can do. There are a bunch of different effects in red that are going to deal non-combat damage to creatures, and you could absolutely put this in any deck where your commander wants to be doing non-combat damage. In any case, I just thought the design was really interesting. I like when they explore new design space that hasn't really been done before that much, and this is certainly that. So kudos for the design, and I think this card is actually a little bit stronger than it might seem initially. So there you have it. Those have been my thoughts on this new spoiler. What do you think about this card? Please let me know in the comment section below. I read all comments and respond to all of them too. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like or subscribe. It really helps the channel, and until next time, take care.